It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Oh my goodness, 4th of July weekend. It's come and it's gone, so that can mean one thing. It's time for a cup of coffee. I'm your man, Wild Will, joined by the great Uncle Chris. And Uncle Chris, hard to believe we're into July, 4th of July come and gone, meaning we can look ahead to August, all the events. School is going to be back in session. Football season will be here before you know it. But 4th of July weekend, we're going to talk about that for the first time in a long time. Pretty uneventful as far as no fatalities or no major happenings, which was a real blessing over the weekend. We'll talk about Como Connect. Their expansion continues into Benton County. And we've really been focused on lately growth of Lake of the Ozarks. We've talked about Aldi, Hobby Lobby, The Cave. So we'll catch you up on those three establishments. We also got a pretty cool nonprofit feature later this month with our friends over at Wonderland Camp. And of course, we got your hometown hero, that. And I'm also going to dig in a little bit so you guys can get to know Uncle Chris just a little bit better on today's show. That and a whole lot more. But first, the man, the myth, the legend, it's Daryl Cunningham.
Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake here. Man, it is hot outside. Come check out our cooling mattresses. We have the Tempur-Pedic Breeze, we have Stearns & Foster, and Sealy models that'll help keep you cool at night so you get a great night's rest and be recharged for the next day. Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
I know if I'm looking for furniture, home decor, maybe a new bed or pillow, this is definitely the place to come.
Oh man, yeah, we've been here a lot. Mrs. Uncle Chris loves this place, let me tell you that right now. So yeah, this is the best place to go. And you know what, they're so dedicated. They were here on the 4th of July.
Right.
Working on the 4th of July so that people could come get what they needed.
And the fireworks they were shooting off were big time savings for everybody that came in stores. So as we look back at a great 4th of July weekend, we get to celebrate our independence. And typically with that many people at the lake, we'll see some kind of crazy headline, some kind of fatality, something drastic happens. And it was a pretty uneventful weekend as far as that is concerned.
Love to see that, because you know, you got so many people coming to the lake that don't know how to drive a boat or run a PWC, or you know, they're not used to the traffic around here or whatever. So yeah, usually there's a problem, and it was nice to see this year we didn't have that. I think the water was a little quieter, a little less boat traffic. It was busy on Saturday and Sunday, but 4th of July Monday was even a little quieter than I thought it was going to be. So maybe that was a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, I don't know if you saw, there was that big fire on Monday on the 4th of July off Dude Ranch Road. Now, luckily, no injuries or fatalities reported. We don't have details. We do have some video that was submitted by Mayor Dennis Newberry. You see now, and of course, you probably saw the pictures all over lake area happenings, and that was about as eventful as it got, was that fire. But luckily, no fatalities, no injuries. And like you said, Chris, that many people flock to the area. Typically, something happens, and it was a really good 4th of July weekend. What'd you and Mrs. Uncle Chris do?
Well, we had a lot of family and friends in from out of town, so the Hizal was very full. It was, but you know what? We were really lucky because, like my brother-in-law and the friend that he brought, they get bored easily, so they start looking for things to do. So man, they put in a new water line, they put in a new toilet flush valve, they put a door on my dock. I mean, they put a ceiling fan up. They were busy. So I was like feeding them beer. It's like, hey, what do you want to do next? You know, it was greatness. You know?
Typically hate having company, not when this is what happens.
Hey, when
right?
they show up and start working, I'm all for it, baby. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get the number of your guest, have them come over. Andrew's been slacking on the home improvements.
They were worth their weight in gold. I'm telling you what, it was greatness. So, but it was hot, man. Was it hot or what?
Yeah, it was. We got to enjoy a lot of sunshine. I will say, with all the activity and all the fireworks, man, Brinley, she's 21 months old now. Wow. She'll be 2 in September. Man, her whole schedule got thrown off. She went napless a couple of days, and we paid the price for that.
Oh, yeah?
Late
She get
at
a little
night.
cranky, did
yeah,
she?
she was a little cranky, acting like her Uncle Andrew over the 4th of July weekend. She's probably cranky because he wasn't around. But, man, what a great weekend. And when you have an extended weekend like we just got out of or get on the other side of, man, when that week starts, it kind of comes like a freight train.
Yeah, and it's weird kind of jumping back into the schedule. It's like we always start getting ready for this show on Mondays. You do most of the work, and then and we do a little preparation for that. So shutting down the partying or just the swimming or whatever you're doing and getting back to work is always kind of the tough thing to do. So
I got a little sunburn.
Wow, you did.
Yeah, I got a little sunburn.
Of course, you don't use the sunscreen, do you?
No,
wow.
No.
I would be a lobster if I didn't use the sunscreen, dude. I shower in that stuff,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll probably pay the price for that later, but I don't trust whatever's in those sunscreen and repellent. So I go all natural, baby.
Yeah. See, I got to get half my face froze now because I went all natural when I was your age.
We're not going to speak that out for me, but what a great 4th of July weekend it was at the lake. One of the biggest weekends of the year here at Lake of the Ozarks, and so many things going on. On our next local story, where we've been continuing along the trend of growth and expansion here around Lake of the Ozarks, and one of the platforms you can find Lake TV on, you might be watching us on it right now, is Como Connect. They've been big for us, and of course they were the first under the Touchstone Energy Group to launch fiber a few years back. And so we're all over the Midwest through different cable providers, and their expansion continues as high-speed internet and TV. It's on its way to customers in Benton County. It's already there in part of Benton County, but officials with Como Connect say construction is underway for the service that will send ultra-fast internet through portions of the county as well as into city limits of Warsaw. Como's been working on this project for some time now, and officials say they have a 6-phase approach to this install. And for phase 1, it's expected to be finished in September or October of this year, followed by phase 2 in October, with the remaining phases taking place in the early part of 23. And with that expansion, they're making their way into Lincoln in Benton County. And so as Como continues to expand, not only does that mean high-speed internet for these rural areas, but it means more Lake TV viewers.
Yeah, we've got Como at our house. When we first moved to the lake full-time, which wasn't that long ago, that was just like 3 or 4 years ago, the lovely Mrs. Uncle Chris and I, we did not have high-speed internet. We had to use the hotspot because we both still work, and everything. And so it was really, really nice when Como came into our neighborhood, had the high-speed internet. We're able to watch Lake TV on Como Channel 90, 24/7, 365. And I think Como loves Lake TV because they take us everywhere they expand.
Right.
And our viewership just keeps blowing up all over the country, which is good for Como and it's good for us.
Heck
right?
yeah.
So we like Como. They're wonderful people. They came to our open house, when we moved into our new studios and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this. And I think Como's got plans to expand over on the east side of the lake too.
Right.
So that's probably coming, which is, let me tell you, that's a real good thing for you.
Yeah, we got to get rid of Charter.
Oh.
Man, I got to get out of there. They're terrible. Yeah,
That's
very
bad.
nice.
Yeah.
They're rough. We love Como Connect. And so for those of you that might be in Versailles, Tipton, California, Greenview, Sunrise Beach area, and you're using another cable provider, internet provider, give Como a try.
Yeah.
They're fast, not just the fastest upload and download speeds available here at the lake, but you get Lake TV on Channel 90 through Como Connect.
And we're not saying that because they pay us money to say that. We're just saying that because we've got a great working relationship with Como. We think they do a great job, and tons of people watch Lake TV on Como.
But let's not be mistaken. If John and Aaron on behalf of Como Connect want to get out the checkbook, we'll say it weekly,
Come
baby.
on down. I'll give you the pen, man.
All right, so as we talk about growth and expansion, Como continues to grow, and two of the more popular stores that have been promoted and talked about, of course, Aldi is set to open. The official opening date has not been announced, but if you drive past that location there with Menards and the movie theater you'll see the shell, and they're making progress, so probably not too awful far away. They do say they will open in this calendar year of 22, and I highly doubt you want to open in the dead of winter, so that's probably going to be right around the corner. And ones that you and I got to be worried about because Mrs., Uncle Chris, and Unique probably going to frequent is Hobby Lobby getting closer to opening.
Yeah, they might have to sell her, rent over there, my wife, because she loves Hobby Lobby. And boy, I tell you, yeah, she's excited about this. And I think they're projected to, the Hobby Lobby projected to open in early August. So that's coming quick. I heard they ran into some issues. They've been dealing with some legal issues and stuff like that, but hopefully that's taken care of. So Hobby Lobby, one of the big, great companies in this country coming to this area, and it's just fantastic.
Something about Hobby Lobby, probably since I was a kid, we lived in Eldon. I grew up in Eldon. A lot of you know that, some of you don't. And so Jeff City was just 30 minutes from us. And so when we went to Jeff City, I dreaded the Hobby Lobby trips with Mom because, she would go, and it wouldn't just be a 30-minute in and out, which is even a long time for me. You're talking an hour and a half to where I'd have to go up to the cashier and say, hey, would you announce that Diane Holtz needs to come to the front? So we'd get her out of there. But,
we can leave.
Over the years, man, Hobby Lobby, I probably need to give it another chance now that I'm older, but I'm not going to go with my mom, I'll tell you that.
I'm telling you, those ladies like that Hobby Lobby. I'm the same way with Mrs. Uncle Chris. We go in there, and I just look for a chair that I can, squat in for a while because she ain't coming out,
I had to do this. I'll tell this story. My mom doesn't like when I tell this story, but, my mom's not old enough to have an AARP card, but AARP, they start sending solicitations and stuff in the mail. When I was living at home when I moved back for my second year at college, I was getting the mail for my eBay packages, and I happened to find an AARP card for my mom that was like showing her the benefits and what her card would look like.
Right.
So I took this card and put it in my wallet. We were in Columbia at Marshall's, and it was supposed to be a quick trip in there, and I think 45 minutes to an hour into it, I'm like, where is this woman at? So I had the lady up front, I told her, hey, my mom's getting up there, she's losing her mind, and so I think she might have forgot where she's at.
Yep.
Will you call her over the intercom and tell her that her son is here, very worried about her? And so that happened, and I remind her of that often. What's it about the women and going into stores and shops?
I bet she went nuclear on you that day, didn't
that's
she?
one way to look at it.
If you know his mom, boy, nuclear is big time. Yeah,
that's funny. And also this weekend, so there's Hobby Lobby, there's Aldi that are coming, but the Cave, we've been talking about that. They had their big opening, and it was by water only early in the weekend, but I heard on the 4th of July when they opened, 15 minutes after they opened their doors, it was an hour and a half wait, and people were lined up waiting.
Wow.
What a spectacle that is. And big shout out to the Waddington family, Mark Waddington, and all of his partners for what they did there, because there's really nothing else like that. Did you and Aunt Uncle Chris get
we drove by there, and some of our neighbors drove by there like on Friday, I think, and they said there was like 2 slips open. They've got like, I don't know what it is, like 200 boat slips there. It's huge, and only 2 of them were open. So they were crazy busy on Friday and Saturday. We drove by on 4th of July morning, right about opening time, about 10 o'clock, and it looked like they weren't going to open. There was nobody up there. And then 5 minutes later, there's, a standing in line, SRO, standing room only. It was, talk about a successful opening. That was a successful opening. I think they're going to do extremely well. And we actually live near there, and the big boats we saw, so many more big boats than usual. But they weren't crazy. They weren't trying to speed and cause huge waves. They were moving slow, so they weren't causing any problem. But they were all going over to the Cave. So I think that's going to do really well.
If you build it, they will come.
I'm telling you.
Adage is true right here for the Cave. So congratulations to them. Okay, so as we look ahead to some of the things happening on Lake TV, really excited. We got a chance to spend some time with Jill Wilkie and Mike Clayton out at Wonderland Camp recently, and so later this month you can see our featured nonprofit of the month with Wonderland Camp. And Chris, I had no idea with what's out there. Charles Miller, who was the founder, donated all this land, and they partner with the Missouri JCs out of Jefferson City, and they continue to expand in this all-inclusive camp. I mean, everything you would want to participate in, from rock climbing to archery to, there's an incredible in-ground pool, there's a splash park, there's a lake access. I mean, and businesses continue to support that and donate things to it. But man, I'm so excited for you guys who know of Wonderland Camp but may not know just how much goes into that. You can check out the featured nonprofit of the month with Wonderland Camp later this month right here on Lake TV, and we're going to amp that series up, the featured nonprofits, because really Lake of the Ozarks has so many important. And as a matter of fact, next week right here on A Cup of Coffee, we're going to be joined by Nadine Kelsey, who's with the Pregnancy Help Center here in Lake of the Ozarks, and another one of those nonprofits that is so crucial, especially now. I mean, it's so important, and we get to highlight some of those.
Those are the people that make our area so special. You know, I mean, the lake wouldn't be what this area is. The lake would obviously still be there, but without these special, wonderful, incredible people helping out the community, whether it's Nadine and her crew over at the Pregnancy Help Center or Wonderland Camp, and you know, it's a family operation started by a family, still run by that family. And then, you know, our good friend Mike Clayton is, you know, really helping to bring eyes to that, raise money for that and everything. And he was, you know, Mike Clayton does so much for this community just outside of his radio show on Mix. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, that's what makes that great. And then so many of the business people that are willing to give of their time and their money, because I know like Scott's Concrete helped build that in-ground pool. And then, you know, you got people like, you know, the Waddingtons and the Meneers and the Kents and the Mossons and the Dugans.
Right.
So many people who don't have to help out, who do help out, who give. That's what makes this community special.
No doubt. And speaking of individuals making our community special, that leads us right into our next segment, our weekly Hometown Heroes, presented by Central Ozarks Medical Center. They just opened the Lori Clinic a couple weeks ago, going really well over there, the good folks at COMC. And typically we focus on an individual, but I thought after a really safe, event-free, or dangerous or bad headline, event-free 4th of July weekend, I thought we ought to give a little bit of honor and shout out to all of our first responders, our EMS, police force, our highway patrol, water patrol. Those are going to be our hometown heroes this week, because especially in 2022, of course, you just heard another crazy headline, one person, 60 gun wound, gun holes, and so there you have this disconnect between the people and the police force. But man, you don't like them until you need them, and if you need them, first on the scene, whether it's a car crash, a home invasion, incident on the water, you know, those individuals every day put their life on the line and answer the call. And so we here at Lake of the Ozarks, big into backing the blue, not just backing the blue, but everyone. Like I said, water patrol, highway patrol, your EMS, your search and rescue, they're all so valuable, and they're this week's hometown heroes, presented by Central Ozarks Medical Center. And, you know, Chris, like I said, you know, you may have a disconnect, or you may see some of the headlines, as we like to paint everybody with one brush, which is very unfair. But in that time, if you do have a disconnect, you don't once you need them.
You know, I never understood we recently went through a time, and I think that time is kind of over, because people have realized how stupid it was. Defund the police. What good is defunding the police going to do you? All it's going to do is cause chaos, which we are seeing and have seen. Defund the police, my butt. They're the people keeping the sanity out there, you know, like you said, in various situations. And in our area, it's like the state troopers that are on the water. They're trying to keep things calm and collected. And we saw them in our cove twice over the 4th of July holiday. Those guys and gals are out there in 100-degree heat working, standing up most of the time, bouncing on waves, and I mean that's a tough job, and they are worth their weight in gold. We love those people. They're fantastic. Whether it's the law enforcement, the firefighters, all of you guys, EMS. We love you, man. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, and a shout out. I saw a post this weekend as well. There were some visitors staying at an Airbnb, and the Water Patrol had stopped and given them a T-shirt because they got caught wearing their life jacket. It's a program that the Missouri State Highway Patrol Water Patrol Division partners with Ameren, Missouri, and they give out T-shirts if they see kids on the water wearing their life jackets. So they're there more than to write tickets or reprimand, but to educate and keep people safe. And like you said, that heat.
I'd like to get my T-shirt.
Yeah, well, T-shirts in our sizes are probably harder to find.
I'd show my abs.
That what you call those?
My 24-pack.
I like it. I like it. But last and not least, firefighters, EMS, police, Water Patrol, Highway Patrol, first responders, search and rescue. Thank you guys for all you do, and that's why you're this week's Hometown Heroes, presented by Central Ozarks Medical Center.
Yep.
All right, so as we look at some upcoming events around Lake of the Ozarks, man, it's going to be another great weekend. This Sunday, Chris, for the first time ever, it's going to be the Shootout trap shooting event.
Yeah.
That's going to be really, really cool. On Sunday the 10th, you can still sign up. You see the flyer here on your screen. And another way that the Shootout is adding and spreading their events out through the year under new executive director Leah Martin. And I had no idea how big that trap shooting and clay shooting and sporting, all of those things, how big that was.
Yeah, and you got to see it up close and personal recently because I think Crossover, Jerry Phillips and the Crossover people did a trap shooting event to help raise money for Crossover a month or two ago, and that was a huge success. And especially in this part of the country, I think, you know, people love guns, people love, you know, all that, and so it's a big deal. So hopefully this will be a big new deal for the Shootout folks.
Yeah, and that's going to be in Lynn Creek, but I will say, if you go word to the wise, make sure you have earplugs or headphones or something. I went out without, and I paid the price mightily.
Shocking.
So, right. So not just that, but also Monday, the very next day, on the 11th, at the Bend, keeping the Shootout trend going. It's going to be this year's Bob Morgan Memorial Shootout Hall of Fame induction class will be announced for the first time on Monday at the Bend. So you want to make sure if you're going, that's an RSVP event. You want to make sure you RSVP so they can anticipate how many they're going to have. But I have heard about the class, and I am very happy with this year's induction class.
So and, you're in the know. You've heard.
I know who the inductees are going to be, and again, the committee, the board of directors for the Shootout knocked it out of the park, and I'm really excited to not just hear that announcement, but for these individuals to find out that their name will be included, etched into history in the Bob Morgan Memorial Shootout Hall of Fame. And also that night at the Bend, the Shootout program guide will be handed out for the first time. So you'll get to see that, which will give you all the information you need from the charities to the race teams and the drivers and things of that nature. So Monday, July 11th at the Bend, you're not going to want to miss that.
Speaking of Shootout Hall of Famers, we've got one of those Hall of Famers, actually two, on our Spotlight show this week because it's the Performance Boat Center guys, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the co-owners, the general manager of PBC, is Brett Manier. So he's back on with us. He is in the Hall of Fame with Performance Boat Center. And then Myra Coyle, who's in the Shootout Hall of Fame as a driver, right? And then his co-driver, Rusty Williams, who does a lot of great stuff over there at Performance. I didn't know that Rusty drives boats with Myrick, you know.
Throttle man, baby, big time.
I didn't know that. So, really, all three of these guys are Hall of Famers, but I didn't know Rusty was the throttle guy for Myrick. I'm like, you race with him? And he's like, well, yeah, what do you think, dude?
Hey, every once in a while that happens. I love the humility, though, sharing that. You go in, you're like, wait, who's this guy? It's Rusty, baby.
It's like, he looks at me like, of course I race with this guy, So, but that's greatness because PBC, Performance Boat Center, is so huge helping out the Shootout. They're the title sponsor of the Shootout, and Captain Ron has said many times, anything we need, we just call over there and they're willing to help us.
That's right.
That's so cool.
And speaking of Captain Ron, one of the biggest events, it's the biggest really one-day event of the year, not this coming weekend, but next weekend. It's Aquapalooza at Captain Ron, Saturday, July 16th, and it is going to be crazy. You got Dirt Road Addiction, the Nobodies, Black Note Band, 4 bands, 5 hours on the beach. You'll have vendors, you'll have great food, cold drinks, and of course the swim up beach. It's a great day for the whole family to get out there. I know we'll be there.
Second year at Captain Ron's.
Yeah.
And last year was a huge success the first year because there's more space there, right?
Yeah.
So much more space for parking, and the cove is, just a lot better for this. So fantastic. I think this is another one of those things that's just going to keep on blowing up.
Yeah, big shout out, man. I'll tell you what, they've really been making some improvements this season over at Ron's. Did want to mention, everyone's having an employee shortage, it seems, right now, which is kind of wild. And Ron's, this last Tuesday, they made it official. On Tuesdays, they're going to do late night menu only and outdoor seating, give their kitchen staff a little bit of a break. So
You've kind of been living at the beach over there the last
baby.
couple of weeks. Facebook, I'm seeing Wild Will and Unique. And,
try to get off work by 4 so I can go meet the girls. We can go get 2.5, 3 hours. We get to take Ron's food home with us. We get home, baby girl eats dinner. She's worn out. We give her bath, put her to bed. Then Andrew and I can get back to work for a couple hours before the next day rolls around. And to keep the crazy weekend going, Lake TV's really involved in the second annual Wiener Nationals. Now, before you guys put your mind in the gutter, we're talking about Oscar Mayer Wiener Nationals in Moberly.
I was wondering why I wasn't invited.
You are. You are invited. It's on the 17th at the Moberly Raceway, and it's a fundraiser, a pill draw. There'll be live music, hot dog eating contest. Lake TV, one of the top sponsors of that. We'll have a big crew up there. KB and Megan will be shooting a feature.
Is that vehicle with the big wiener on top?
Yeah, that's what starts. That's the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. It kind of gets everything started with the first lap. This year's benefactor, people that will get the funds is the EMS and first responders.
Nice.
So a great event. We just gave them a shout out, and there's another way to participate and help them.
You remember the old Oscar Mayer Wiener?
I wish I was an Oscar Mayer Wiener.
Yeah, that was great.
Bobby Spicer did a feature a couple years ago when they made an appearance here at the lake, and he put the suit on and he sang the song.
Wow.
So maybe Andrew could throw in a little clip of Bobby Spice right there in his Oscar Mayer Wiener suit.
Absolutely.
All right, so as we look ahead, you already mentioned on the community spotlight, Brett Manier, Myrick Coyle, and Rusty Williams.
Yep.
You also want to stay tuned for that nonprofit of the month. And don't forget, on July 25th, folks, it is going to be our political forum, the election on August 2nd. It's going to be here before we know it, just a few weeks away.
You don't want to miss that.
Not only do you not want to miss that, but I think it's time, roll up your sleeves, start doing some research. If you plan on voting, don't just go with who you like or against the person you don't like. Do a little research. Feel free to reach out to those candidates and ask some questions, sit down with them. This will be the most important political election in the history of Lake of the Ozarks, and so make sure you do your part. So
and what day was that?
That's going to be on August 2nd is the election. Monday, July 25th is going to be our forum on Lake TV. Kicks off at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Can't attend, so you're going to watch it. All right, so before we go, real quick, Chris, got a couple questions for you. I want you guys to get to know this guy just a little better. All right, so tell me this. What was your favorite childhood memory or tradition?
Favorite childhood memory or tradition? Probably going to high school basketball games with my dad.
Yeah.
He was a teacher and a track coach early in his adult life, and so we would travel with the basketball team. We had a really good basketball team, won state one year. I was really afraid of the bleachers, of falling through the old-time bleachers when I was a kid, but I loved going to those games. That was a lot of fun.
Very good. All right, this may be the same, but favorite sports memory that you'll never forget?
Oh, wow, okay. Probably, I've got a bunch of them, and they all have to do with work. I got to interview a lot of like Hall of Fame kind of people and wonderful people, but probably my favorite of all time was either Roger Staubach or Tom Landry. Love those guys. Great, wonderful people.
And sometime when we have a little more time, you'll have to tell your Troy Aikman story on the
absolutely,
show.
yeah.
Got to hear that. All right, so we got a couple more questions. You can hear those on next week's show. Make sure you stop by this week and see Daryl and the crew here at Slumberland at the Lake. For Uncle Chris, I'm Wild Will. We'll see you guys next week.